So before doing anything, we have to melt our Mexican hot chocolate. And there's a few brands out there. After doing some research, I found that this Ibarra is a little bit more authentic. So I'm gonna melt this in the microwave at half power until it's all smooth. And then we're gonna cool it slightly. So we do this first so that it can cool down as we're getting all the other ingredients going. So this is melted, and don't be alarmed. You know, I was at first, because this almost looks like curdled chocolate, you know, when you melt chocolate and it seizes up. This is Mexican hot chocolate. It's mixed with sugar, cinnamon, and spices, so that's why it's got a gritty texture. So it's melted. You just want to get it so that it's smooth, and I'm going to set it aside and combine my dry ingredients. All right, for the dry ingredients, we've got 2 cups of flour, and we need our leavening, which is going to be 1 teaspoon, baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And now comes the fun stuff, if you will. These are the flavors that are in Mexican hot chocolate. We're just going to play with them a little bit. It's going to enhance the flavors. So 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. We're going to need a little salt, 1/4 teaspoon. We also need 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. It's up to you. If spice kind of freaks you out, then maybe go with 1/8 teaspoon just to get started. But this is the mix that was really successful last time I made these. Everybody at the office raved about them. So with a fork, you're just going to mix this up. Oh, it's smelling really good already. The cinnamon and the cayenne. Wow, that's real nice. Okay, so you're going to set this aside. In the big bowl, we need some softened butter, 1 cup. Give this a little bit of a mix to get things going. 1 cup of sugar, and keep in mind, you know, there's sugar in the Mexican hot chocolate too. Okay, so you've eaten that sugar nice into the butter, so it's nice and fluffy and creamy. Now we're going to add eggs and vanilla. We need actually 2 eggs. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla. This is 1/2 teaspoon. I can't seem to find. Anyway, so we'll do 4 of those because we need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. All right, so that's nice and smooth and fluffy. And the final thing we're going to do, as far as our wet ingredients, is add our Mexican hot chocolate. It's cooled, but it's still loose, which is nice. You don't want things hot because you're going to curdle your eggs. And give that a good mix as well. All right, with that Mexican hot chocolate mixed in there, you can see it's turned into a really pretty light chocolate color. Okay, now it's time to add our dry ingredients. And don't overmix. We're going to start with half and incorporate it in. I'm going to fold it in by hand first so it doesn't go all over. And I'm going to take the mixer to it. All right, I just beat it until the flour was just incorporated. And I'm going to add the rest. I'm going to use my spatula again just to kind of fold it in. This is kind of something I do with the hand mixer. I hate when flour goes all over. So kind of blending it by hand a little bit before I throw the hand mixer in sometimes helps alleviate some of that. Okay, here we are. I scraped my beaters, so all the dry ingredients are incorporated in, just so. The final ingredient are mini chocolate chips. So these are just semi-sweet chocolate chips, the minis. If you don't have minis, you can take just the normal chocolate chips and just chop them up, or take a semi-sweet bar of chocolate and chop it up so that it's as fine as this. And I would incorporate this by hand with your spatula. Just kind of fold it in. While you're doing this, preheat your oven to 350 and line a couple baking sheets with parchment paper. Here's our baking sheet. And I've got a teaspoon, and this is just a simple drop cookie. Just like that. And they're little. They're like little bites. And you're gonna keep them 2 inches apart. I'm gonna put these in the oven for about 15 minutes. And the last 5 minutes, I like to flip the sheets around so that things are evenly browned. So let's go for 15. It's been exactly 15 minutes. Oh, and they smell delicious. So we're gonna let them set on the baking sheet for about, I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes before I pop them off and put them on a cooling rack to cool completely. While your cookies are cooling, you need to mix your powdered sugar for garnish. There's 1/8 cup of powdered sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and give this a good mix. And I'm mixing it in a resealable Tupperware, because you may find that you want to bake some off now and freeze the rest, and you can always just have this on hand to sprinkle over them. I just baked off a batch for tonight for cozying around the Christmas tree with hot cocoa, and then the rest I froze for baking day. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. And there is a whole series on prepping Christmas cookies for holiday baking day. These Mexican hot chocolate cookies will be part of that. So we'll have that ready, and I'm going to get a plate to place these out nicely for tonight. And so all you do to finish these off, I take a little tea sieve. My mother's got one of those great I don't know, sieves with a handle for baking projects like this. I use this, and because you really don't need that much. And just sprinkle. It's the perfect size. This with some hot cocoa is perfect. It's a perfect gift too if you want to give these as a gift with some Mexican hot cocoa mix with it, and maybe in a mug. That would be really nice. So come join us by the tree later to enjoy these. Here we are by the Christmas tree, all cozy, and the weather outside is it's dropped down from 60 to like, I don't know, last night it was like 19 degrees. So it's been a little chilly. So perfect time for some Mexican hot chocolate cookies and hanging out with the family by the Christmas tree. So thanks for joining me today on Fridays with Flora, and join me next week when we make some pasta puttanesca, so a little pasta. Anyway, if you want to get more inspired about cookies, check out my playlist on how to prep cookies for holiday baking. Lots of good recipes and good tips there. So join me next week and enjoy the holiday season. Ciao.